Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna sew a linen pants. How I just said, today we're gonna sew linen pants, and I do have here a little thrift flip because that's the pants from my mom. It's quite big, so I have a lot of space to work with, and she did lose some weight. It's not fitting into that pants anymore, so she said I can just use it. And it's gonna look quite just like that. So we will have two side pockets on the front and then a system for the zipper right here. Like if you have seen the leather project, the leather pants, it's gonna look quite just like that, but made out of linen. And we just have a few different switches about that. You're gonna need just some fabric. We won't have some pockets onto the back, but if you want to have some pockets on the back, just go ahead and check out the leather project. So everything for the project you're going to need is basically the fabric, and as well you're going to need some fleece lining just for the front and for the waistband, so that's stiff and strong. And also you're going to need a zipper for the front and one button, so take that in mind, and then you can just go ahead and start. The sewing pattern you're going to find down below in the description box like always. And I do know that many of you are going to watch me and not have subscribed just yet, so maybe you're just going to go ahead and subscribe and also give this video a big thumbs up. On Instagram you can also just check out what I'm doing. I'm every day doing something about fashion. I'm going to go ahead, seam rip all of that, and then just cutting out the pattern, and we're going to see us when I'm starting sewing. So let's get started. So now I did prepare everything. I had to seam rip the pants and I made the sewing pattern. It's now available obviously, and then we have also a detail onto the side, which is this one with the two D-rings. You can tighten it right there a little bit. 2.5 centimeter wide. We have also for the pants a zipper bottom, which looks just like that, and then we need obviously a zipper, which is here now 16 centimeters long, and then we need a flap for the zipper, a top flap, and I did made some fleece lining in so it's a little bit more stiffer. And we need a waistband, which is just like that. I did cut it twice because I had to, but normally you're just gonna have it in once, and then the front is open. We need two pockets, which I have right here. I obviously seam ripped them and had to cut them how they are, and they just sewed together by the side seam already. And then we need two fronts and two backs obviously, and make sure to mark where the knots are gonna be, like here for example, so you know where to sew them. So two fronts, two backs, two pockets, one waistband, the zipper system, and also the detail. That's everything we're gonna need. And I think we're gonna start with the detail right here because I did made one already, so I'm just gonna show you how I made that. So go grab your two pieces and two D-rings. Let's go. For that you have just to fold them right sides together and sew right along, and you have to do this with both parts. And you just take a safety pin, you put the pin right in one side, close it, and then you push the safety pin all the way through, so we're turning it inside out. I'm also going to do it with both. Obviously you have to do it 2 times because we have 2 sides for the detail. So you basically just pull all the way so it can go through it. Gonna make them straight. You can also iron them, and then you're just gonna sew all the way around so it's more secure and safe. I'm doing it with both sides, obviously with both pieces. Just take the smaller piece and put both D-rings between it, just like that, and then I'm gonna sew from the top to the bottom. We have to pull them both through, and then you spread it and you go between them, and then you can pull, and you see, because they are the same, you can really pull on them and they won't come off. So that's what we have to do. Mine is a little bit smaller, I have to say, but yours will fit to a 2.5 centimeter one. I just had leftovers. Maybe I'm gonna redoing this part, but that's basically it, and it's gonna fit also with some larger and smaller band. You see I did serge the edges, but I left the hem out. Take the top flat just like this one, and you have to put them right sides together just like that on the very top. And then we have to sew from the top all the way down to the bottom, and then we have to turn that over. So now that is secure, which is really nice, so we're going to leave that. I have the zipper right here. And we can start with the other one. You have the little curve right here, so you're going to put them right sides together just like that. I'm going to sew the little curve right here. It's sewed. We can now turn them inside out, and you take the zipper and you're putting them onto the other side, right sides together. You can sew it from the top to the bottom, or you can do it just in one step and sandwich the zipper between it. So I'm quickly gonna sew that, and then when we open it, you see it looks like that, and we can also put that on top. But first of all, I'm gonna sew that right here. It's sewed, and this side, this is the center front, so this side has to go all the way to the center front right here. So we're basically sandwiching that, and then you can also use some pins, so that's really secured and not go somewhere else. And then I'm gonna flap that over. So you see we have now two pieces, and this bottom piece we have to go flap over as well, so we're not gonna sew that, not attaching it. If we would attach that, then we would have a big problem because we wouldn't be able to open the pants. And then we have this flapped over, so I'm just gonna sew that right on here. Gonna sew where the needles are right there, because then whenever we open it, we have a really nice edge just like that, and that's something we're wanting. And it's gonna open, it has a top flap and a bottom flap, so I'm just gonna sew right here. It's sewed now, and when you open it, you're gonna see if you have some tension, it will always go over it, so we don't want that. I'm gonna flap that over as well, secure it again. And then I'm taking a little marker. I'm gonna mark. Now I can really look through it. If you can't look through it, just take a measurement and take your sewing pattern. You can do it then more easier. So I'm gonna do about 3 centimeters, I would say. And then here we have also where it's open. You have the zipper right here. This is the notch which we need to have. So we have a little curve right here. And then I'm just gonna sew these two pieces together until the curve right there. So I'm just gonna sew where I marked it straight. So it is sewed now, and when I open it, you see it won't come open. One very last step we have to do is we open the bottom flap, and we're flapping it just over and pinning it as well down so it's secure. And now I only have to sew right here the little curve. It's now done and safe. One thing we're also gonna do, I'm putting them now right sides together, and you see we have to sew this opening and also the bottom. So I'm just gonna sew from here the whole curve up to here, so it's closed. And we are going to put them right sides together really quick. And then I'm going to sew right here. So and I'm going to do this with both parts. So it's sewed, you can now flap that over, and we have to make an invisible seam, so we open it. And I'm leaving the seam alone downwards. So open this, and then I'm going to sew right where the edge belongs to be. It's now secured, so I'm going to flap that into the inside. Just turn it, that's the inside, and then I'm just going to do it just right here, so edge on off to the edge, and pinning just the back, not the pants. For here, so I have to sew it first here, and then I'm gonna sew all 3 layers down here. And we have also 2 notches right here, and you have a little dart which goes like this. So we are just gonna take this notch, just a notch, all the way like to this side. So notch on notch. And I'm gonna put a pin right where the notch belongs to be, and I'm just gonna sew a little bit inside of that. The same thing I'm gonna do right here. So how you see they're secured, and now that's the way. So we are gonna put them to the pocket side, and you can also put the pocket on top. So just pin the pocket as well, make it even, and just put some pins in through all the fabrics, the whole part. I'm just gonna sew right here so it's safe and we have a really nice opening. So that's made and looks really nice. I'm taking the bag, and I do have a pocket for that because it just came with a pocket. If you do want to have some pockets, there are some pockets available, just some top stitched pockets. If you don't know how to do that, just go ahead and check out my leather project. You are going to see how I'm going to do the pockets. They're really easy, so just go ahead. I have a dart right here. I marked the points. So I'm just grabbing these 2 points right there and putting a pin in. Again, I'm doing it with both parts, like that. And then I'm grabbing the point where it belongs to be, putting it onto the side. And I'm also putting a pin right in here. So I just have to sew from this all the way to the notch a little dart. The same thing I'm going to do with the other side, which is really nice. I'm going to put them right sides together, and I'm just going to sew the curve right here. So they're made just like that. And we're now going to put the pants right sides together, the front and the back. And I'm just going to pin the side seams really quick. I am going to sew the side seams right here, and then we can also spread the legs and put them together just like that. And for that I'm just going to lay the similar against each other and just going to sew right here. I'm going to start from the middle point and then go all the way down to the legs. And the same with this part, I'm going also down the legs. And after you can try it on, it will be a little bit too long because we haven't done this part. So the pants does fit really well to me. So I'm just gonna take now the waistband right here, and I'm just gonna pin, and I do pin where the marks are going to be, so just all the way around. And I'm starting with the outer side, and then I'm going to be into the inside, but first of all just pin all the way around. Whenever you do it, make sure to leave about 1 centimeter open so we can turn that inside out really nicely. So that's on it, and something I'm gonna do right now, just ignore this. Obviously I had to use what I had to, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this one upwards, this 1 centimeter downwards, and then I'm just folding it. So, and something right here is we're just gonna pull this over. This one has to go upwards and that one has to go 1 centimeter upwards. So I'm just gonna pin that really quick. So I have to sew right here. The same thing I'm gonna do onto the other side. So again, I'm pushing the seam alone upwards, pull this down 1 centimeter upwards. And then you see we have like this little curve right here. So again, I'm gonna put a pin in to save that. and then I'm just gonna sew right there. So I'm just gonna sew right all the way right there. You can also top stitch if you like to. You do have to try them maybe on. For me, they really fit really well. So the only thing I have to do is hem them, and I'm just gonna do it with a really normal stitch. And now that I have about 2 centimeters to fold, so I am just gonna do that really quick. I have my measurement right here, and what I'm basically gonna do is just fold that 2 centimeters. So whenever you're not working with leather, you obviously have to serge it first, and you can also mark it with a marker if you like, but for me, I just gonna go around with 2 centimeters. And what you also can do, you can fold that over and check if it's about 2 centimeters. So now the main stuff is on. The only thing we have to do is finding a button, and I do want to have this button. So this one I'm going to put down here, and down here I have to put a little buttonhole, and this is this direction. So whenever the button goes in, it goes all the way in, and I'm going to hand sew the button below here. A little detail right here. You have just to measure it by the pocket size right there. So I am going to put a pin right in here, sew against it, and then I'm turning it, and I just sew another time above. And then this part goes between the side seam and also the dart, just right here. So if you want to make it longer, it's fine. If you want to make it a little bit smaller, or just want to have it as a detail, it's also good. You can just go ahead and do so. It's like that. Sew it against it and then turning it so we can have it as one system then afterwards. Like that. So that's the detail on the side. If I'm just gonna put these two on, and also the button with the buttonhole. And okay guys, that's it for today. I really hope you liked today's project. I'm really happy about that pants. I can now finally wear it. It's like summer here, but it's not really warm. And if you're gonna sew something, maybe you can tag me just on Instagram. I would really love to see what you're doing. I love to see all the projects you guys do and create out of my sewing patterns. So I'm gonna see you into the next video. Bye!